Hello and welcome to the Soulful Valley podcast. If you're a regular listener, thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. If you're new here and don't know me yet, I'm your host, Carey, independent publisher of books that matter and an international best-selling author, and of course, the host of this globally ranked podcast. I help metaphysical coaches and healers gain confidence, clarity, raise their visibility and their credibility, giving them the opportunity to shine their light brighter so that the people they are here to serve can find them. I do this by creating opportunities for them to become best-selling authors in my multi-author and solo book projects. I also offer one-to-one mentorship services to help spiritual business owners find and unlock their limiting beliefs. In this podcast, I'll be sharing wisdom from myself, coaches, authors and energy healers that could be just what you need to transform your life today. You can connect with me via the Contact Katie button at my website at www.soulfulvalley.com.
You gotta love yourself with all your heart. If you don't already, it's time to start. 'Cause nothing's gonna work out until you do.
Hello and welcome back to the Soulful Valley podcast. This year we have 3 book collaborations, Becoming the Manifesting Diva. We still have a couple of author spaces for that, but we're really excited now as the chapters have started rolling in. And we've got another Soulful Poems collaboration for you, book 3 in the series. We've still got several poet spaces if you want to submit your poetry, and a 3rd book in the series for Evolving on Purpose has been birthed, and it's called Evolving on Purpose, Akashic Journeying to Wealth Consciousness. I just thought I would let you all know about these magnificent opportunities that we've created for 2024. I'm also supporting a couple of clients with their solo books starting from tomorrow, and I've got one more space for a solo author who either wants to be coached in creating her book or has already created a book and needs help with the publishing and a launch. If that's you, check out in the show notes. All of my opportunities will be linked there. And for now, it's back to the episode you came here for. Lalitha Donatella Ribert is an international best-selling author, a life coach, speaker, and entrepreneur. Lalitha is also a Vedic astrologer and a meditation teacher. Lalitha is a researcher of human consciousness who has dedicated the last 2 decades to guiding people to their highest potential and spiritual growth. She holds, among other degrees and certifications, a BA in Vedic Astrology and is the creator of ShreemLab. As a multi-certified life coach, Lalitha helps her students speed up dream manifestation. Lalitha taps into her 30-year research into the Vedic arts and sciences. Lalitha's influence extends far beyond the confines of her coaching practice. Her international best-selling books, studies with the renowned mentors like Deepak Chopra and Dr. Baskaran Pillai, and an upcoming feature in Dr. Joe Vitale's movie Zero Limits have established her as a respected authority in the field of spiritual coaching. You can find Lalitha at her website at ShreemLab.com. Some fun facts about Lalitha. Lalitha was born on 1/11 at 11:11 a.m. While living in India for 5 years, she travelled from the Himalayas to the southernmost point of Tamil Nadu, visiting nearly all the states, innumerable spiritual sites and energetically powerful vortexes. Lalitha lives in New York. When she's not writing, travelling or meditating, she loves hiking, being in nature and cooking healthy Ayurvedic foods with a touch of Italian cuisine. Hello and welcome to the Soulful Valley podcast, Lalitha.
Hello, Katie. So good to see you.
It's Absolutely amazing to have you back on the show, especially today.
Yes, we are beyond excited.
We had arranged today in time for your book launch tomorrow, but the universe had a different idea entirely.
Absolutely. It's amazing how things work, and it looks like a spiritual book has a life of its own, I believe. What do you think?
Absolutely. And the book is called Think and Receive Miracles. And on Sunday, the book miraculously, before we were even sharing the links with anybody, began to take off
Yes.
on Amazon.com in the USA, where it is really difficult to get into the top, well, even into the top 100 over there for a solo author.
Yes. It's the biggest market, and I see that number one is actually a Wall Street Journal bestseller, and with 5,000 reviews. And I thought, oh my goodness, look at this. Number three, it reached to number three.
Yes.
Never went further, but that was good enough for me.
And it seems to be staying there as well across between number 3 and number 4. So if you're in the USA, if you go and buy the book today, Lalitha could reach number 1, and we would love your support. But Lalitha, so that our listeners know what we're talking about, can you let them know a little bit about this book?
Absolutely. It's a book that's very close to my heart. Maybe every author says that, but I really, really mean it. I felt that there were some topics that are very hot now, not just because they're popular, but because they're very timely for a revolution on the earth. So I believe as a spiritual researcher, that's what I call myself, a consciousness expert. I've studied in the yogic tradition, the science itself, more than the asanas. Like I studied that. We are in Satya Yuga now. We've just entered. So all the scriptures are being fulfilled. For example, Christianity says that Jesus will return, right? The Bhagavad Gita says that Krishna will return. And in the ufology groups, people say that now the higher council has returned. I don't know who they are, but supposedly these are angelic beings who have contributed to bringing life to earth, all in name of the source. So they don't call themselves God. They don't call themselves higher beings. They just say that they are in service to the one supreme divine God. Call him source, universe, it doesn't matter. So, and they are all back, supposedly, because we are ascending. So Earth is changing frequencies and dimensions depending on the sun. So the sun has a lot to do with our consciousness. And according to the yogis, the sun is the number one factor for the highest intelligence, for the soul. So we are not physical body, these are just vehicles, let's go for the soul. And the soul depends very much on the sun. So that's how we're initiated as higher beings, as beings of light. And then we take incarnations on different planets, including Earth. And I believe you and I have been here a few times. And probably we've met before, who knows? So this book is about past lives. I know that I've remembered a lot of past lives through meditation, also through nadi readings. They're done by very specialized astrologers. They're lineages of astrologers, and they are pure secluded monks, let's call them that. They're in Tamil Nadu, South India. And that is very much connected with a civilization that was lost called Mu, or Lemuria in modern terms. And so all these interconnections really were very inspiring to me. And of course, I met you. You were so inspirational. I decided to write this book with you. I feel it was a collaboration because there was one meditation you gave me on the Akashic records. I very much established in the Vedic sciences. I use Vedic Astrology, which is a science in India and elsewhere. I've done master classes with Oxford scientists, engineers, incredible people who are very brainy, very much. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a historian. And so I know that is very good for accessing what we call the Akashic records. But the meditation you gave me was so empowering. immediately I had a vision of myself at the time of Satya Yuga in Mu, and the light was very different. I didn't know anything about the sun, how it is in Satya Yuga. I saw that it had a different nature, a different light. It was more white. There was white light, wet white light everywhere. And we were in a higher state, and there was no individual ego, individual consciousness. And I've done 30 plus years of meditation. And so I've studied great masters. I've been very fortunate. And I never had that sense of oneness. That was the first time I had glimpses of that. But this one time I felt, oh, wow, we are really all one. It was a higher state. And it was so beautiful. And I thought, if that's where we are going to love it. Because supposedly Satya Yuga started on December 31st, 2024. No, sorry, 2023. And so now we have entered this time. We are the transitional beings here to facilitate it, I believe, because we have come here. We knew why we came. We knew why these changes are going to occur and how they're going to transform. We can transform ourselves and also help others do the same. Because most of us are in the rational mind every day dealing with a number of issues, and we worry, and we have a list of things to do. And so we don't always put our focus on ourselves and our spiritual growth. So if this book can help even this much to help to give people tools and a new perspective. So we do need an open mind. So for this book, a little open-mindedness will help. But I believe you love the stories. They're all authentic. I only like to write about things I have experienced and I know that I've researched for decades. I really don't like to just say things to people. I try to show them and give. So I'd like you to try to read this book and get the tools that are very practical, very simple to connect with. Higher self has lost its meaning because it's so overused, but with that deep connection to the divine that you have, and you yourself are divine. So these tools will put you in touch with the best version of yourself. And also it will help you understand that there's nothing you cannot do. And we like to say that now, everybody's saying it, even in the marketing field or in everywhere, like people are like to use the spiritual language now.
Yeah,
Because it's become cool, right? And also we probably mean it, but how many of us have had 30 plus years, to look into it? So I'm not saying I'm the only one. There are millions and millions of people like me, but I believe this book can change your perspective and help you a lot to make the best of this new time. Because there may be another side to Earth that will not evolve so fast. It will be in a different frequency. And there'll be like two populations, basically, of Earth, or two Earths. And now if you know quantum physics, you'll understand what I'm saying. Because we are creating everything as we go, depending on whether we see the wave or the particle. So we're creating either the fifth dimension, or we will witness the changes on Earth and possibly a world war, I don't know. But according to my astrological research, also there's a possibility of that. So I believe that we are in a time when we really need to hurry and look into better way of doing things and to embrace collaboration and embrace more love. It sounds so far-fetched to talk about universal love in our daily busy lives, but that's where we need to go. We have no choice.
It's also something that is so simple that we can do, isn't it?
It is.
We search for all of these complicated ideas and we're always seeking, but it all comes back to just being able to connect with an open heart and love for the rest of humanity, for everybody and everything around you. And I think people don't think it can be that simple, but it
Right.
is.
We all forget. I believe that when I'm rushing, when I have a lot to do, my husband had a fall recently. I was super busy. I was still in the process of finishing my book, etc. It was like two different worlds. I thought, wow, I was getting uplifted from my own book because I was in such a bad state of, suffering and worrying about my husband, etc., and overworking. And now I think, yes, it is simple. We can really love each other more. We can forgive more so we can free our energy. We have become enslaved to the past. We have become enslaved to those who have hurt us. We've all had some trauma, and I believe we need to heal. And so this book offers a lot of simple yogic, but also simple spiritual tools. I believe you remember your past lives when you embrace these techniques. Just even a conversation can awaken so much within. Do you agree, Katie?
Absolutely. Do you want to share just one of these techniques, Lalitha, with our audience?
Definitely.
To give them just a simple taste.
Yes, so a simple thing we can do is simply open ourselves to a conversation on new topics. For example, in the 1990s, although I had new knowledge of yogic science, what I was reading was books on intuition. And through those books and the exercises in these books, I was like imagining what my life would be like in 5 years. And what I saw was, or 10 years even, I saw myself in a place, I was on a mountain with all these eucalyptus trees. And I thought, oh no, am I going to get sick and go to Switzerland to heal my lungs? That was so negative, right? So why am I in this beautiful place with eucalyptus trees? I didn't know that in India and the Himalaya, there are a lot of eucalyptus trees. I discovered that 10 years ago when I lived there. And then also I saw these beautiful fabrics, Indian fabrics, and I thought, oh yeah, that maybe I will go to India, I thought, because I love the India and its spirituality and wisdom traditions. And so I saw these beautiful fabrics. It turned out that it was part of a bedding, like a bedding set that I actually had in India. There was a beautiful bedspread with these pillows in the same fabric. It was magnificent, the paisley with some blue and purple and burgundy. It was so pretty, and some like ochre. I don't remember. It was just a gorgeous combination of colors that really resonated with my taste. And so you can really have a glimpse of the future just by opening yourself to a new idea. Let's see, how will I live? Where will I be? What do I really want to do? What I wanted to do was really getting up out of my daily routine. I couldn't take it anymore. I would get up at 5, meditate for an hour, then do yoga for an hour, and then go to the gym, take a Zumba class or whatever it was at that time, maybe step, and then, take a shower, wear the suit I brought and go to work. I worked at the Italian consulate in cultural affairs, even though it sounds like a pleasant, easy environment, there was a lot of bureaucracy and it was stressful. And then I worked in PR. I had to read the 5 newspapers back then. After reading the news, I was a basket case. And I thought, this is not for me. I was always like tense and I had to do work for my clients, which I loved, but also that got tired after some time. I wanted more, I wanted to travel. I wanted to become a yogini. I wanted to spend time in meditation. And I had to do it. I couldn't do otherwise. I had to follow. But it took a lot of courage, to leave that income and then switch to being paid by the hour for your yoga classes. But then I went to India, so the rest is history. And you can find some of that information if you like, also in my book. So there are simple techniques, like just open yourself up to the Akashic records. I just heard this meditation. Your meditation, I believe, is 20 minutes.
Yes,
Boom,
it was, yeah.
this vision. We're all becoming psychic. There's an anthropologist, you will read about her in my book. She said that the next human would be fully psychic. We're already like that because of all the solar flares. So the sun has entered the place in the galaxy, apparently, that brings back the light on Earth. When the sun is in a different position, we experience the Kali Yuga or other lower frequencies and light and less light, which means the consciousness, a collective consciousness drops, and there are conflicts, wars, crimes. People don't resonate with the divine. They don't care anymore. They don't believe I'm here, I'm flesh and blood, and I don't see and I don't care. I want something now. So there's instant gratification, and people there's cheating and stealing and all the crimes that we see every day still. So now we're in this transitional time where the light has returned, and we see that we have these possibilities, but because of the light, now we're kind of shocked. Oh my God, what have we done to the earth? Oh my God, look at my life. Look at this job. Look at this relationship. This is toxic. These are the ones. So we're a little bit stressed out, or even shocked. I would say more shocked. And we need spiritual teachers to say, hey, you're not finished. This is just the beginning of something wonderful. All you have to do is just look into it. Just take some time for yourself. What is it, 10 minutes a day? Better than nothing. Read my book, and then I believe that can give you maybe inspiration and simple tools like go outside at night, look at the stars, notice how you feel, talk to these constellations. They're not for crazy people. This conversation is not for delusional people. Like we seem delusional to very practical people, right? Sometimes people can laugh. I don't mind. We all have a different path. So you go outside and talk to the stars. They are alive. Even scientists are finally saying it. The stars are alive. They choose their own path. So these are sentient beings. The yogis have always said this for many thousands of years. We're just hearing the conversation now because we're looking into ancient wisdom, and we're waking up. We're having intuitions. We meet people who give us guidance, right? So the Akashic records, imagine how your life is going to be, but primarily imagine what you want. That's even more important today, because we need to be excited of waking up and living our lives and helping others. And there's got to be more inspiration. We shouldn't just wake up, go to a job so we have food to eat. That's called an enslavement. Not that I've not been there. I've also worked, for a living. I tried to make it as exciting as I could at the time. I kind of managed to make it nice. I tried to get the best clothes I could afford and go to beautiful places. But it was tiring too, like how much instant gratification can you have before you become very depressed? That's my experience. I've never been a party, what we call in America, party animal. Never, not even when I was younger, a teenager. I liked my friends go to the clubs, etc. I didn't like it. I liked dancing, so I studied dance, but it was not for me. But I did have a nice lifestyle, I have to say the truth. I didn't deprive myself of anything, but there's got to be more, right? If you're not happy, there's a reason. So yeah, there are a lot of teachers out there. But I'm very excited that this book is #1, and I believe there is a reason. So we need to start talking about star beings. We have brothers and sisters. Some are bad. They will evolve one day, maybe. It's not our problem. But we have angelic beings. They're sometimes in the light body, or sometimes they're in the flesh body. Depends. They can have both sometimes. And so I'd like to know, more about this topic. And I decided to share my experiences with this topic. So from childhood, experiences I had, and I put it all together. I also remembered about lifetime in the past in Mu. That was so strange because at Mu and Atlantis, I always felt a repulsion for Atlantis. Maybe I've had a bad life in Atlantis. And some people are still wondering, is Atlantis real? everything has been suppressed. Why? Because we have a history and people don't want like to push the envelope. They try to make it very simple for us. Yes, we started 6,000 years ago. We were hominids at some point, and now we're beautiful, now we're smart, now we have technology. Is that really how it worked? I don't believe so. Every day there are anomalies, people finding ancient technology that surfaces from, in archaeology. I'm not an archaeologist, but I follow Gaia TV, like most people, and watch videos on YouTube. And I like to make my own mind about things. And there's a beautiful museum in Japan, and it's called, I think, Lemuria. And there are a lot of photos of underwater buildings. Of course, mainstream archaeology called it natural erosion. These are right degree angles. There are steps of temples, columns, and everything. So, okay, we're not that dumb, right? There's got to be something there. So, yes, so it's a lot, it's time to start, this conversation about who we really are, where we're coming from. We come from the highest realms, as high as we can imagine. And also we're in ancient civilizations that had better technology than today. And it was a combination of technology and consciousness because they're inherently connected. They're very closely connected. You cannot have one or the other unless you want to go in the second dimension or worse, in the lower realms where there's only greed and ego and hatred. And I'm not interested in that world. And I'm sure you're not either.
No. And if you're finding this conversation fascinating, then I highly recommend that you go and download this book because it's at the lowest price it will be for another 24 hours probably. In the UK, that looks like 78 pence. But for lots of wisdom, lots of real life experiences as well that you've had. You've shared some of your stories from your childhood.
Absolutely. From research and my own experiences and my family also. I share from a friend an episode. I like that. I like to talk about my friend. Her name's Stephanie. And she's she's French and she lives in Paris. And she had an experience. She met a tall blonde being in the subway. Because the night before, after reading a book on ETs, she became so fascinated that she wanted to meet them. And she said it out loud, I want to meet you. I want to meet you, I want to see you, etc. The next day, this tall blonde being, telepathic, proved they could read her thoughts, freaked her out, scared her so much. Because we think we're ready, but sometimes we need a little comfort zone, right? So he probably wanted to prove to her, hey, you called us. He was dressed very elegantly, very nicely. He was very handsome, very tall, very polite. But still, she had forgotten that was her desire to meet. And he said, if you don't hurry, you'll miss your stop. And he named her stop, the stop where she was going, and nobody knew. Actually, it wasn't showing a ticket or anything on the subway. And she was going, let's say Montmartre, okay? Montmartre. And then she wondered why he knew where she was going. So she became worried. And then he also told her, you're going to one of these salons, health salons. It was a health conference she wanted to go to. And there were two simultaneously in different parts of Paris. And she was wondering which one she should choose. And then as she was wondering, he told her, I think you would like this better. And told her which one, exact name, and exact location. And that's when she decided to get out of the first stop. She got really nervous. And when she calmed down, she realized, oh no, I should have talked to him because I wanted to meet him. And he was so sweet and handsome. And, and my mother also met somebody like that, like dressed with what else? A blue shirt, light blue shirt, like these pictures of the theologians that supposedly live under Mount Shasta. If this is too much for you, I've never heard about Mount Shasta. and the beings from Lemuria who survived the cataclysms. They went to live under Mount Shasta, and now they're not ETs, they're not extraterrestrials, they're actually Earth beings because they were here on Earth and now they live under the Earth, which is a honeycomb. Any archaeologist can tell you that. So look at these themes if you like the idea, and see what's good for you and leave what's not for you. I think you'll love it.
One of the things that I love that you've done in this book as well is that anything that you have shared with us, you've given us a list of further books to go and delve deeper into these topics. So that's an awesome little extra that you've got in the back of the book.
Yes.
Lalitha, there's something else that we're both doing very soon, and we've both already been filmed for.
Oh, yes. That's very important. We're both looking forward.
It just occurred to me that I should bring this up because it's huge, isn't it?
Yes, it's exciting. I can't believe. Yes.
So we're both, listeners, we're both going to be featured in a movie documentary of Joe Vitale's called Zero Limits.
Yes, I was always fascinated with Dr. Vitale's books and research on the Hawaiian culture, which is believed to be part of Mu again. I don't think
it's connected. It's all connected.
It is all connected. The Akashic records and Mu and ancient civilizations and Hawaii, Australia. That's where my number one bestseller was, in Australia. So I don't believe in coincidence.
No,
I believe that all these higher energy and higher beings on the earth plane are helping us to find the communities, the books, the tools, the things we need to evolve and to help each other, because it's urgent. We don't have that much time, right?
Yeah.
You've seen what happens in the Middle East. I mean, I don't have to tell you that it's a very serious situation. And also, the earth is changing, it's growing up. The sun has become so much brighter. NASA has shown some research about all the planets in our galaxy becoming so much brighter, like thousands of times brighter in the last few decades, and that's significant, right? So there's a lot going on, and I believe it's connected to consciousness in a very positive way. But we might experience some growing pains, some teething, right? Like babies. We might experience a little bit of discomfort.
As well as the book and the movie, Lalitha, you're a spiritual coach and a teacher. So if somebody wanted to come and work with you, how would they go about doing that? You're also a Vedic astrologist, so you read for people as well.
Yes, I use it as a tool when people want when they sign up for a coaching program with me. I like to, if with their permission, I look into their birth chart, and there's a blueprint. It's pretty much scientific in the sense that it's observable and repeatable. Isn't that our scientific model? And you can see that these planets are bringing a certain mindset, certain experiences, inclination to this or that, etc. So with that knowledge, which is always like, oh my God, how do you know this? And not because I'm using it, but it's because it's a very good method. So I also use that as a tool for uncovering, deeper truth and what the person, their opportunities, because sometimes we don't know what we want to do. A lot of people are waking up and saying, okay, I'm really not inclined to get another job in marketing. I kind of hate it. Marketing can be beautiful because it then brings you more people. So there's nothing wrong with that. But some people really dislike it. Why should they stay stuck in a job they don't like, right? I'm using marketing only as an example. Please don't get upset with me.
No, because when I'm marketing, it's different. It's magical marketing.
We're all marketing ourselves, right? It is.
We're all marketing.
Modern time, we're online. We all have some marketing involved, or some other field like finances, or I don't know, other industries. So we should have tools. We should have somebody who says, okay, but you will be very good at writing. Oh, yes, I always write stories and put them away. That was my case when I was a teenager. I was writing stories, but because my parents were so brilliant, my mother was multi-published, she was with all these mainstream, high distribution publications in Italy. And she was such a good writer and a philosopher. And so my stepdad also was published by the top academies, and it was just incredible as a philosopher. So I always thought, oh, they should never read what I write.
Oh,
Never, never. They criticize me so bad.
that's where the comparisonitis comes in, then, isn't
yeah,
it? So
that's
then you
where
hold
it
yourself
starts.
back.
It starts in childhood. So I thought they should never, ever, ever read my stories. However, my mother always complimented my writing, like my teachers, even when I didn't study a thing, that I was always in a higher state. To me, they call it being in the clouds. I was always in a higher state in my
So
own
was
way.
I. So was I.
Right?
I was the child in the classroom that would write 20, 30-page essays when you only needed to write 2 pages.
There you go. And I would
Yeah.
write poems, or I would write whatever I wrote, no matter how dumb. Oh, wow, this is fantastic. All my teachers or professors, they loved it. And I thought, okay, I can always get away even if I don't study. If I write something, they love it. And so my mother always complimented my writing. And actually, not too long ago, she passed away a few years ago, but she said, you're a better writer than I am. And I thought, oh my God, what happened? Which side of the bed did she get up from? What happened to the sun rising in the west? And anyway, that was very kind of her. And she was very happy when I wrote my first book. And she said, oh, and we're talking about top level intellectuals, right? With lots of successes. And she said, oh, we didn't know that aspect of life. We're just, just us. Like, what do you mean? My stepdad had 2 PhDs, my mom had 1. So I was always I was lucky that I got the support I needed at the right time when I was insecure. And I think that's what we need. I talk to spiritual people and I see them, they're very tentative because we didn't grow up with a lot of support for the things we really love. Maybe in the US, in the new generations, you see that more because parents who have suffered in their childhood support their children today. And they say, do what you love, you'll be successful at that. So we're seeing more of that. I believe it's a sign of evolution. We're not torturing our children saying, I'm a lawyer, you have to become a lawyer.
No.
So
And you're also seeing a lot of 50+ women in particular going back to things that they loved to do when they were children. Like there's a second chance to be who you are again, which I find quite wonderful.
And that's what I love. I love to work with women who are finding their true selves. And it's being hijacked when they say the true selves, they use it in a negative connotation in mainstream writing. I don't believe that. Our true selves means you're fully divine, fully empowered, and also you have supernormal powers beyond your wildest expectations. You can fly. And now sue me. I don't take drugs. I've never had psychedelics. So I know that the yogis fly. I know that they have all these powers. They hide them from the mainstream. They can live underground in a box for months because they know how to slow down their physiology. And there have been studies at Duke University, the US, and Yale, and all these studies on the yogic abilities. They're not mainstream for some obscure reason. They disappear. But we need to start saying the truth. Show those studies. Show that people can do anything. Some yogis don't even eat. They live off sunlight. Okay, so that's maybe too far-fetched for most. But we do have abilities. We are intuitive. And actually, I find that successful people are very intuitive, especially businessmen. They know which deal would be profitable, which will not be. They use astrology. Don't sue me, but it's true that financial institutions use astrologers. and it's hush hush. And so
And a lot of these places use psychics as well, because if they're not
probably, I
intuitive
don't know.
themselves.
I don't know, but I know that some major financial institutions connected with so many banks, when we asked the question, the reply was only at the highest management. We use this Vedic astrology or astrology, meaning they'll never tell the lower management, not that they're lower. I'm saying that it's on a need to know basis. Right? So they will, is that correct? They
Yeah,
tell
well,
the top managers and the CEO, because they don't want people to lose probably faith in their abilities. I don't know. And they know most people are not ready for the conversation. The planets are alive. They bring streams of thoughts. They bring tendencies. They bring certain events. Everything is subject to these, subject to the influence of the planets. It's radiations. They bring thoughts. One day we will have this knowledge, all of us. But now it's a kind of niche maybe, but a lot of people believe in astrology. I always felt it was not a belief system, because it's actually a tool. It's like, okay, what's the weather? Do I go swimming or do I stay home and read a book? If it's thundering and it's really chilly, you don't want to go swimming, right? So if Saturn is entering a constellation of the moon and you're going to be very depressed, why try to do something exciting and having a party on that day when it's not going to work? There are some lunar phases where you'll fail what you're trying to do because you'll have to do it twice. The ninth moon. So there is a lot that we have not been taught. But this information is out there and it's not too difficult to find it. I teach that too.
While you're on the topic of astrology, something that confused me a bit was, at first I was fascinated in astrology from the age of about 20. And obviously all that's ever been available to me is Western astrology. So what's the difference between Western astrology and Vedic astrology?
I'm a serious Vedic astrologer, so I don't really criticize others, but I prefer Vedic astrology. I find that Western astrology, being based on the tropical astrology, they call it, which is based on the seasons and also on the precession of the equinoxes, which means all the planets are being studied like 23 degrees ahead of where they were. Whereas Vedic astrology is using these fixed stars, so they're reliable. So we have not changed the signs. A Leo will never be like a Cancer. They're opposites. The Cancer is ruled by the moon, gentle, loving, sensitive, intuitive, and Leo is what? The leader, the president, the actor, the person with a big personality and sense of success, leadership, etc. I mean, they're opposite, but because of this shift of 23 degrees, now people are called a Leo when they're Cancerian, or they're called Aries when they're Pisces, and it's just like,
so what would I be if I'm Libra in
confusion? Yes, so we cannot really understand an individual from the month and the day of their birth. That's what I found out. It's like saying, okay, I was born in the winter. I really am good at skating, ice skating. I'm not sure that's true. Some people who are born in January hate ice skating and they actually want to live in the tropics. So I don't want to simplify it, because actually it may work at the highest level where the person is very scientific and they're doing all these calculations to extract, and the difference. And I find that it's in a state of confusion, as also my teachers believe. But anyway, there's a lot of truth in the precession of the equinoxes, the solstices, etc. Equinoxes have changed, right, because of this precession of the equinoxes. So that's some research you want to do. I find the Vedic astrology is easy, clear, and reliable, and it's giving me fantastic results beyond my expectations, and also the client's expectations. You can read the testimonials.
And how long has Vedic astrology been around?
Oh, thousands of years. As usual, all these higher sciences were either suppressed or we lost the connection. our thinking also has dropped. At some point in the Bronze Age, we went into wars and destroying each other. And there are all these scriptures that talk about it. Rather than scriptures, epics like Ramayana or the Mahabharata, they explain the real history. Yes, we had nuclear weapons. Yes, we had vehicles, spaceships. Yes, there were other beings from other planets or galaxies that came here. Yes, so we have a whole new cosmology. We have a lot of new knowledge that we can use and we can understand ourselves better. The Ramayana said it was written in a time that was very evolved. It was like the second best after the Golden Age. So the Golden Age is the maximum, highest consciousness, more inclination towards the higher sciences and the divine. And then Treta Yuga is the Silver Age, when the demons supposedly return to the earth plane and they have a lot of power. And so the higher beings, the consciousness is still very high, can distinguish between right and wrong. We have made a mess of embracing the shadow, I believe. Embrace the darkness. What are you embracing? You have to accept it. It's part of the divine design, I believe. Don't kill me, but that's what I believe. It's part of the divine design to have good and bad, because that's how we evolved and we know which is which. We do not embrace the darker forces so we can feel better. No, we have to be very careful and vigilant, actually, because we have to protect our energetic body, our mind, from psychic attacks. There is such a thing as dark energy. What is it? Fear, hatred. It's in everyone. Fear, hatred, unforgiveness. Right? That's why that's what we say in the movie Zero Limits. Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I thank you. Right? And it starts with I love you, God or universe. So make it big.
However that is for you.
Whatever is for you, right?
Yeah. So Lalitha, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom today. And this book that I highly recommend you go and read. I literally couldn't put it down when Lalitha sent me the first initial copy before we got to edit. And I look forward to seeing how the next 48 hours pan out with the rest of the countries that we've just launched in. So today we've just shared the UK link.
And if you love it, please let me know. It means a lot. And also write a review.
Oh yeah, please write a review on Amazon.
So honored if you find something that resonates with you. Let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalitha. And where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram as Donatella Ribeck, which is Lalitha is my spiritual name, but I also use my birth name, Donatella Ribeck. Or you can find me on Facebook with the same name. You can find me on my website. I don't know if we're ShreemLab. That's tough to remember. I know.
I'll also put the links in the show notes and the links to where you can purchase the book.
And I have a YouTube channel also with lots of free videos on my techniques, on Vedic Astrology, whichever resonates.
Wonderful. And I've just remembered you've got a competition going today as well. So for anybody that buys the book.
Oh, yes.
You can email myself with a screenshot that you've bought the book and left a review. And you've got a prize draw. What are the gifts for the prize draw?
A 1 hour Vedic Astrology consultation with me. And the value is $351. I don't know how much that's in pounds. And so I offer 2 of those as a lottery, and also a copy of my book signed, if you like that.
Thank you again, Lalitha.
Thank you so much, Katie. Wonderful seeing you again.
Bye for now.
Bye.
So ask yourself, is this for me? Give yourself some boundaries. Learn to trust your intuition now.
Thanks for listening to the Soulful Valley podcast. I trust that you will have heard something today that you were ready to hear, and that it's made you feel a little lighter, more aligned and connected with your soul's purpose, and you have been reminded of who you really are and the true nature of the power that you hold within you. My aim for this podcast is to bring love, light, wisdom, raise consciousness, and ease suffering. If you've enjoyed the show, go back and listen to some of the back catalogue of previous episodes. Subscribe, follow, rate and review so that you're notified when new episodes drop in, and share this